Awubone wrong, C to the J, Sibusiso Kamlifi coming through. This is what we call Let's Ringa. Otherwise, namhlanje, I'm hoping la way I'm audible to everyone. I don't have to do some sound tests and some sound checks. But yeah, we're gonna just do that for the sake of indobana bahlali bengeka comment yabo. But if you got a comment, you can lay it up on the comment section. Let's ring. That's what we're all about. Otherwise, vandaag what we're gonna be talking about is indaba development in terms of the music industry, the role this plays and why it's needed and what is currently happening and what should be happening. You find? So yeah, man, we got a page on YouTube. It's called The Elements. We got a page on Facebook. It's called Bang Entertainment. Those are the pages that you need to follow in order for you to see what is happening behind the scenes and what everything else we are doing out there. Otherwise, igama lam njengoba benditshilo nguSibusiso Kamlifi, but I also go by the name C to the J. And so if you don't want to miss out on anything that we are doing, Lawe, those are the people and the searches you should be doing on Google and whatever else you use to search indobana kwenzeka ntoni life in. Otherwise, yeah, man, we come from a heavy week, Lawe. But I'm not gonna dwell on that. Sinezinto ezininzi ezenzekayo, abantu are still going through it, abantu are still trying to deal with zonke iway ezenzekayo, and so we are here talking about how to develop the mind in order for into yobana idile nayo nantoni na eyenzekayo on the music industry, you know. The music industry, njengoba ndanditshilo uqala kwam ezi talks la way, is a very broad industry. It's got a lot of practitioners, some not even doing music but capturing and documenting what we call music and broadcasting it and just doing whatever ezawubangela into yobana abantu babe aware of into yobana ikhona le way kuthiwa ngumculo, and the industry is built from that. And so there are a lot of developmental platforms that are supposed to be there, but currently apha la way mandithethe nge-Eastern Cape. I'm not currently aware what's happening kwezinye provinces, but in the Eastern Cape, I'm aware of e-platforms that cater for e-development ezinjenge organizations. I'm not sure how to categorize them because they are not business organizations. They are policy-based organizations because ngaba bantu who negotiate and talk on behalf of artists with ezinye stakeholders like your government, your corporates, your other organizations and institutions, njalo njalo. Because aba bantu abaya talk on our behalf as artists, as practitioners, la way on a daily basis and on the field. They talk on our behalf to negotiate how things come in service of the artist. So there's a lot of that happening up in Eastern Cape, and there's also those developmental platforms as in Jenge centers. Zikhona ke apha naphaya la way, whereby you get youth centers, you get arts centers, you get ilendo. I wish there were more of rehabilitation centers as well, you know, but I'm not aware of that, if that's happening currently. So yeah, you can jump on the comments and let me know if that's something that's out there, and that's something that is being introduced or condoned or promoted in the music space. So yeah, just let me know about that. And there's also a lot of artist-based movements deal strictly with the development of artists, you know, from practice, from ilendo, theory, from the experimentations, platforms for into yobana abantu could just come in, jam, could just come in, share resources, njalo 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 njalo. There is a lot of that happening. But ke namhlanje la way, I want us to touch on the impact of these. I want us to talk about how these affect ababantu and how they are supposed to go the route of ukubenza a whole okanye a holistic artist in all forms of umntu oyi-artist, because i-artist is not only based on skill, it's not only based on talent, it's also based on personality, it's also based on worldly knowledge, it's also based on access. So it's all about what you can access, and it's all about how you implement what you can access, and it's all about what type of person you are trying to be, or you are trying to recognize or display or promote or present, whatever the case. Okanye, it's all about the talent that you have, and it's also about the skills that you have amassed throughout your upbringing through the art sphere. So we need to understand zonke as way and also deal with ezinto when we are trying to deal with the artist in its developmental phase, you know. And so I'm hoping that I have abantu who can advise me on these, because I didn't have a lot of that growing up, and as a result, la way ndiyile artist ndiyiyo, based on abantu that I've met on the last decade of my life. From okanye masithi a decade and a half, because 15 years ago I can say kulapho khona ndiye ndaqala ufocusa kwi-development, because a lot of us xa sikhulayo as artists la way sijonga i-goal ye-publicity more than i-goal ye-talent and the product, mandibe kolo hlobo, because there's a lot that goes into the product itself. So siye sithi naxa mna ke ndikhule ndiyi-writer most of the time, ezinye izikills ezi ndizidevelopha ngoku sendimdala. So when we used to write, what we used to model was the eloquence of i-artist, la way indlela ewakhupha ngayo amagama, indlela ethetha ngayo, the cadence of ilento i-rap yakhe, the lento the swagger of i-speech sakhe, la way islang asisebenzisayo, the dynamics of it, la way i-relation points, utatsha phi naphi ngayo yonke le nto ayithethayo. So we didn't care much about what it actually meant and what he actually said, or she actually said, or they actually said. I should be savvy about my pronouns now. There's a lot of that going around, and yobana abahlali la way should use a proper pronoun for whatever person they dealing with. And so I will try to ukulungisa apha naphaya if I do recall ngelo xesha ndithethayo, but ke I hope the message is just understood as is, regardless of zonke pronouns as existayo, because I'm trying to move to the message more than into yobana iyakubani okanye kwathini, because we are all artists regardless of yonke lo way. So njengoba bendisitsho, skill, talent, access, ilento i-personality, plus nelento ikhona naleyo yesihlanu ndiyilibeleyo, but ke that's what it is, man. Ndiyabulela kakhulu kuNkosiphendule ndinje qha Films Ngqwala, quality of your setup Grootman, ndiyabulela kakhulu. IGrootman ke ibhizi zizinto zelento ze-videography, hence iqalile eqi setup nayo yonke lo way, but ke siyabulela Grootman la way. So what we are getting at here la way is i-impact yayo yonke laa nto, how it fits engqondweni ye-artist as he or she grows up. And so what we used to do when we wrote is to look at the dictionary to find the word synonymous to what we are trying to portray or present to abahlali. And so what that meant in terms of i-content ne-impact yayo ne-message behind yonke loo nto was we lost a lot of it, we diluted a lot of it, we missed out on a lot of target audience. Uh, we lost ourselves. We 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 misguided the people we were presenting to and ourselves in the midst of it all. And so yonke le way when you look at it, yilaa nto ibangela into yobana when you look at art in general ufike ube nalaa ngqondo yento yobana abantu abasa-exist kwa-art, ubuntu abusa-exist kwa-art. Like you see models, you see oopopayi grand xa ubukele ii-artists, because yonke laa nto has no impact, has no meaning, has no ayifiki land grand, you know, because it's all on the surface, on the surface that way, and even on the surface it's superficial most of the time, you know. So zizonke nje ezi zinto lead up to i-perspective abantu abanayo kwi-art ibe warped kwayona, because nowadays it's no longer a dictionary like we used to. Abantu ba fully aware of i-language abayisebenzisayo, ba fully aware of i-speech abasebenzisayo. For us English used to be a hip thing, you know, and so for us elokishini, that's what I mean. So when we wrote in English we tried to be relevant, but nowadays kids are so accustomed to isingesi la way, they don't see a need for ukusebenzisa for relevance, they see a need to ukusebenzisa for something else. And so that's why nowadays it's stylistic, it's harmonious, it's melodic, it's like that indaba yokusebenzisa le reference ndigqibosuka kuyo yoba sasiyisebenzisa njani thina i-English. So there is loss of self, there is loss of identity, there is loss of content, message, and the core of i-presentation yakho imkile based on zonke ezi ways sigqiba uthetha ngazo. So these are the type of things endicinga uba if mhlawumbi we were to focus on kwi-development centers esikuzo. When I say center ke I mean zonke ezi bendisithi zikhona ziya-exist apha e-Eastern Cape. There are a lot of izinto abahlali can focus on ezi-based on into yobana identity, ungubani, message, ufuna ukuthini, and then we go to i-product, siyokha njani. Now it goes to the skills part. Then it goes to into yobana siyokhela phi so that it sounds like we want it to be, it seems like we want it to be, it feels like we want it to be, njalo njalo, it's enjoyed how we want it to be, you know. So zizonke ezi zinto bendizibala ziyi-5 before, they need to work hand in hand in order for yonke le development ibonakale ngale ndlela kuzawuthiwa xa upresenta iway yakho as an artist sifile like yeah, nantsi artist ke ngoku, you know. If zonke ezo zinto azikho kwi-upbringing ivele ibonakale ekuhambeni kwexesha. If you stay in that position ye-upbringing yakho, I don't mean ngokwe-local okanye ngokwe-geography, I actually mean ngokwe-mindset, because njengoba ndisitsho into yobana mna ndiqale ubona i-development when I started developing myself. So i-hip hop kum in that sense ifike yayiloo nto yoba laa element kuthiwa yi-knowledge of self yavele yandibuza ngezi zinto ndithetha ngazo, into yobana identity, ungubani, message, ufuna uthini, kutheni le nto uziexistela wena, yintoni le uexistela yona wena uwedwa nje, now uzawuyenza njani, what are you gonna do in order for you to contribute yonke laa nto, uyenza njani into yobana uzawusebenzisa ntoni for into yobana uyenze, and then uba uzawukwenza ntoni, yinto yobana are you gonna do podcasts, are you gonna rap, are you gonna act, are you gonna ntoni, njalo 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 njalo. But namhlanje sithetha specifically ngale nto nge-music industry, and so asizungena kwezinye ezi. Sin, uyavakala? Ndiyabulela rhotmane lawe, umirha mzondi ziyeka, ndiyabulela bhuti. Yeah man, you know, so when all of these things are applied kwi-development ye-artist, iye ifike msinyane kule nto it took a lot of us more than a decade to reach, to be personal, to be human, to be humane about the presentations, because I have nothing against ezinye presentations ne, but I'm trying to depict esi istyle mna ndiye ndenza ngaso. If ibingomnye umntu ngoku, I would be hollering and trying to get excited and try to show you how passionate I am about le way ndiringa ngayo ngoku. There are presentations such as that. Eyam yile i-based on i-identity yam, i-based on i-message yam, i-based on i-product yam, i-based on ii-resources endizisebenzisayo, le ibinconywa apha yile rhotmane lawe uNkosi Phendula. Zonke ezo zinto ne-environment endizenza kuyo get to speak a lot about who I am and how I am and what I do, how I do it, where I do it, who I do it for. So i-presentation iyodwa nje yilaa nto iza kubangela into yobana xa umamele mna undohlule from anyone else. If I say, ugcwele imibuzo apha engqondweni, uyayazi le nto eyimfundo ayikho sikolweni. Now that is something that someone else could have done ngenye indlela, but I did it like that, and as a result xa uyiva, you find what other people call a signature, okanye i-trait yakhe, okanye istyle sakhe, okanye i-technique yakhe, or whatever you choose to use for la identification yoba ungubani yena, you know, because all of those things have to shine if you are to be an artist of note. Yonke la way, it's all about la note. Every note has its place in the register. Every note has its place in the score. And as a result, for anyone to be off note, you have to sign where you are and who you are, what shape you are, what form you depict, and what sound you make. Njalo, 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 njalo. And so, i-platforms ezibe ndizibiza, your activists, your politicians, your debaters, your podcasters, your bonke aba bantu bayithethayo in order for you to grasp it, and then you can think about before you apply it. Bonke aba bantu abaya banespace ekufanele bakwabona bacreate i-content ezifana nale nto sithetha ngayo namhlanje in those spaces. And it's what I think lacks apha e-Eastern Cape, because most yabahlali la way, when they are in those spaces, they all about ukufumana imali in order for them to continue doing the work, but the work that gets done gets to focus on ukuphinda sicontinuishe ukufumana imali in order for us to continue doing the work, and iphela the work ingekho complete okanye started for that matter. You see some other people excuse me, applying, sending in proposals, getting into boardrooms, debating and politicizing yonke iway, kuthethwa, kuxoxwa, kufind outwa into yobana ingenzeka njani and what not and what not, only for into yobana masifumane imali for ukuyenza. Once ifika imali ufumanise into yobana ine-terms mos imali efika ngazo naphi na, into yobana this is what we need for le mali and this is what should be done and it should be done ngexesha elithile, njalo 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 njalo. People get the money. Ukufumana kwabo imali ufumanise into yobana kucomplywa only with what was said ngelaa xesha. If bekuthiwe i-term ethile sizayimonitharisha for uba le nto yenzeke, sometimes that's how long it gets done laa nto, and then koko we move on to into yobana siyifumana njani enye imali, you know. Ndiyabulela kakhulu Taluna Mandla, Luna Bobby, keep up the good work, that's what he says. So danke Godman. So you know, as way easy, okay, before I move on, no Yanga Buga Makalima, big up Sbuda mfowethu, ndiyabulela Godman sisonke. So as way easy, before zibe ziyenzeka and ziyaqhubekeka ukwenzeka, because that's the point of us talking namhlanje, is for i-sustainability yayo yonke le way. Njengoba benditshilo into yobana it's not that abantu abazenzi, zikhona, but there are some challenges, and i-challenge yokuqala yile ndigqiboyibeka nakwezinye ii-platforms, because le way lena isibetha apho khona ufumanisa into yobana aba bantu bathethayo on behalf of i-artist ba-knowledgeable, meaning they have i-identity, bayazazi bona, they have a message, bayayazi what to say and how to say it. But then ke ngoku apho ifike ibethe khona kukuba yenziwa phi, because bona ke ngoku bavele bayoyithetha eboardroom, bayoyithetha eofisini, bayoyithetha kwi-individual or a corporate or whatever entity or institution abaye bayithethe kuyo. When it's time to implement, baqokelele nje abo bantu bambalwa bathi, and then koko done, badlule kulaa way. Imali yona akuzuthiwa ibuyise, because on paper it says yenzekile and there's evidence into yobana iyenziwe, but that's superficial or artificial evidence. Ufumanise into yobana there are just some pictures, some photos ezithi besisenza le nto. Could have been one day, could have been a week, could have been a short amount of time that gets prolonged on paper, kube ngathi these were days, these were years, these were njalo njalo. But if you would ask anyone ngoku ebeke wafumana any funding 3-4 years ago, ubuze nge-impact yala project ebefumene i-funding ngayo, you would find more than 80% of the time aba bantu abayana lawe are no longer doing that project. Andithi abantu should be doing that project oko, but abantu if bona abekho phaa kulaa project, the project should have a legacy. It should have abantu abathi, because of that project I am. Kusekho abantu abasadla ii-legacies zee-projects zakudala. Umzekelo ocacileyo, we are still suffering mentally from iproject ye-apartheid, but yonke laa way, because we don't consider it ngolaa hlobo lento yobana it was a project, siyithatha as i-system, siyithatha as i-history, siyithatha as, you know, asiyiboni ke ngoku into yobana nezinto ezipositive could have that lasting impact ebomini bomntu oyi-artist if we are to treat them as such and actually implement in such a way. UGotman uMeha Mzondi Ziyeka uthi imali vele iphazamise yonke le nto bro. True. You know, imali has the element of ukuthatha umntu imbeke kwiposition apho afila like le nto ayenzayo ayinawukwenzeka ngaphandle kwemali. ibe imali ingayenzi yona laa nto, but imali im-afoda laa element besithetha ngayo, i-access. Imali affords, it doesn't have, but it affords, because with imali you can gain access. But what if you can gain access without imali? If you can realize that and you can eliminate imali in your process of thought, ezinye izinto ungakwazi uzenza kule ndawo ukuyo, ungulo mntu unguye, unale knowledge unayo, with aba bantu ubaziyo nezi ndawo uzaziyo. Because zonke ezi zinto njengoba ndisitsho into yobana zinendawo yazo, and iyi-one le ikuafodela i-access apha. Ewe nezinye izinto ezi ingazi-afoda, but abahlali for the most part awukwazi ubathenga ngemali bakwenzele le nto wena uyiyo. Bazawukwenzela le nto imali ba-afoda yona, not le nto uyiyo. That's why kukho ii-budgets. Ufumanise into yobana unayo ngoku imali but awuba-afodi abantu abaza kuintaprethela le nto uyiyo, identity message, because laa nto uzaziyo uba uyiyo, you have to put it in a message, and that message has to be put in a resource, a talent and a skill, and you cannot afford such talent ezakuportrayela le nto ngale ndlela if awunabhajethi ithile. And so zonke ezi zinto get mixed up, abahlali ufumanise into yobana abakwazi ukuzi-understanda as way into yobana zingenzeka njani without imali, kanti bekufanele into yobana baqala ekubeni bazintoni ezi funeka zenzekile before finding solutions zento yobana zenzeka njani. uMirha Mzondeziyeka uthi ezawuwe zenzeka ku-social development, ezawuwe zenzeka ku-social development. True, you know, xa sithetha kanye ngezo nto zinjalo, umzekelo social, our society needs to be developed. Now i-society, it's one of ezinye ze-capitals zethu. Abantu when they talk capital soloko bona becinga ngemali kuqala, kanti I've been, mandithi, privileged or blessed to be part of i-programs ezinjengo-Business and Arts South Africa's debut program, to be of i-participation of i-programs as such as i-Arts and Culture Trust, Building Blocks Masterclass, to be part of i-Cortex Hubs boot camp, launch league boot camp, yes, that's how it's called. Nezinye njalo njalo, because from these, that's when I learned into yobana kukho i-social capital, i-natural capital, i-human capital, i-financial capital. There's this fifth one as well. Hoping someone okhoyo wake wakwi-program nam obukeleyo apha can let me know about that as well, because there's this fifth one. It's also important as well. So what I was getting at is that social capital is the land, or this one, the fifth one is land capital. Yeah, I think it's called land capital. I will have to check on it, but it's all about the things you have access to. This was taught through iwe abathi ABCD, kuthiwa yi-asset based community development, yi-approach ethile whereby you look at your assets and you don't only check yes, it's land capital, utsho norhotmane lawe uMzondeziyeka. Yeah man, you know, you need to have a land you can practice all of this at. You need to have good relations with that land, understand it. You need to have good relations with the society you are part of. You need to have good relations with your money. You need to be aware of indlela imali esebenza ngayo, because yile nto bendigqiboyithetha yento yobana abantu think into yobana imali is the actual thingy, or it's the actual what you call resource itself, but imali affords you the access to those that you need. So ezi zinto zizinto endicinga uba okay, I think we will have more of ilento i-comments. So let's hope they show there ecaleni, in case I forget to read them, because they are getting out of screen and hard for me to manage, but akho smoke. So what I was saying is, zonke ezi way ezi, they need to be in a way whereby we have a relationship with them, we have an understanding with them. And kwa isociety yethu, you know, when you grew up hip hop, and hip hop was not hip and fresh ebantwini and not a norm back in the day, and you used to be ostracized and looked at funnily, and you were the strange one. The society back then was not in a relationship with you. You were not familiar to them, even though near society A1, but you were of different views, you were of different landscapes ngokwengqondo. And as a result, loo nto inibangela into yobana ningavani, ningakwazi ukusebenzisana, for each of you to grow, for each of you to develop to istage esilandelayo, njalo njalo. You know, so zonke ngoku ezi zinto abahlali bacinga fanuba zizinto ezintsha okanye zizinto that were supposed to develop abahlali, zizinto ezi ekudala zisenzeka, but we just didn't have a relationship with them. Find. And so zonke ke ngoku ezi zinto, the way they need to happen, they need to be in a way that we understand these things before we start creating the content about these things. Ndiyabulela kakhulu DJ Sebs. I see you as well, Sis Makhatebe. Ndiyabulela kakhulu. A great artist, that one. Usis Nomabhodwe. Ndiyabulela, sister. You know, business capital and human capital, referring to DJ Sebs. I will just let the conversations keep on popping up and everyone else acknowledging them. I'm just gonna go off for now and not include them in my train of thought. Hopefully ndizawuxoleleka if there's something umntu aluda kuyo kule nto ndithetha ngayo. But you know, ezi zinto zonke, if we start having a relationship with them, only then will we benefit or develop from them. Because even if you check a love relationship, that develops based on you starting to interact with that person. Because if you are just physically there existing, yonke laa nto, it doesn't grow, it doesn't develop you, and you surely don't contribute to its development. So iyonke lento, even financially ke ngoku, this applies. Even nangokomhlaba, this applies. If you don't tend to umhlaba, uzawugcwala ukhula and uza kuhlaba ngeenkunzane zawo, awudevelophi, instead you regress. So zonke ezi zinto zinendlela ezisebenzisana ngayo. And you check kwezi ntsuku i-industry yethu apha e-Eastern Cape yakhiwa njani. You have radio stations, you have platforms such as podcasts, you have platforms such as institutions ezifana no sifsa your cultural and creative it's Creative and Cultural Industry Federation of South Africa, I think. You have institutions ezifana no-Archive, South African Arts and Culture Youth Forum. You have institutions nee-platforms ezifana no-Opera House. I think inegama elitsha futhi ngoku, I forgot what it is. Bangandikhumbuza u-DJ Sebs what it's called. You have institutions ezifana no-Eastern Cape Audiovisual Centre, ECAVC, okanye known as Miriam Makeba Institute, ngaphaya eMonti, njalo njalo. There are many, but zonke in terms of its development, they don't have a relationship with the artist as they wish they would. I know some are trying. I know some are making attempts and strides as we speak. I know ezinye zishota nje ngemali before zibe ziyayenza yonke lento zifuna uyenza, But as I have said, zonke ezinto can start now. I am reaching out to abahlali. I'm not an organization. I do run an entrepreneurial endeavors. I do engage abantu on a business level. I do a lot of things as a contributor to a social responsibility, and I feel like in denial as the person of my identity and my message. And so zonke ezazinto I'm implementing le nto ndithetha ngayo namhlanje, trying to develop a relationship with zona before ndibe ndenza nantoni na apho khona ndizawubuyela kwi-drawing board endithi I'm creating content, I'm writing a song, I'm starting a business venture, I'm investing in something. Whatever that I get up to has to do with le thought ndithetha ngayo, into yobana what relationship do I have with this space ndifuna ukuya kuso ngoku, and how many people are there that I know, who can I learn from, what resources do I have and what do they have, and what does the society need, and how can I shape that, njalo 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 njalo. Umzekelo, what uDJ Sabs is talking about coffee business, there is a market for that, and there are people consuming ikofu, and so bonke aba bantu zii-relationships ekufuneka azibuilde nabo ezizawubangela into yobana kuyekwe enye ibrand yekofi kuyiwe kuye, kuyekwe enye ibrand if laa ndawo uzawuyenza as a shop selling coffees. I'm not sure what his business will be about, but I'm trying to depict le nto ndithetha ngayo in a practical example. UGotman uthi laa ndawo kwakusithiwa yi-Opera House now ibizwa as a Nelson Mandela Bay Theatre Complex. Salute Gotman for that info. So yeah man, zonke ezi zinto the way ngoku zenzeka ngakhona, abahlali have to understand laa nto yoba it's all about relationships. Sasisoloko sikhala ngama-connection ekungena endaweni. It wasn't about i-connection like ubani undifakile, but it was about into yobana ubani uyakwazi enough for into yobana kufake na, because it's still a connection even if ubani awumazi wena, but if uyakwazi yena and ekwazi nje uyibona imessage yakho irrelevant to esa space, uyakwazi ukufaka ubani. If ufila like i-identity yakho is something anorelate kuyo, uyakwazi ukufaka ubani. So zinintsi izinto that go into le nto kudala sasiyibiza nge-connection, and nowadays we have social media. It could be something that breeds a connection. Umzekelo, abantu abaninzi abangabanye apha azange sadibana ngobuso, but we know each other through social media. We have a connection now, and as a result akufunekanga ngoku ibe iterm yasekasi into yekonokono, but ufuneka ube practical ngayo into yobana if ume phezu komhlaba unekonokono nomhlaba, if ubambe imali unekonokono nemali. But if zonke ezi zinto unekonokono nazo nje, you don't put thought behind ikonokono lakho nazo, azizukudevelopha ezaa zinto. Uzawuma phezu kwazo instead ufile like zikukhonkxile, uzawufumana imali, but instead ufeel like into yobana more money more problems, because awuyi-identify into yobana uzisolva njani ezi bezi-exista. Kanti if you have money and you eliminate eziya problems, the problems stay the same, it's not more. You find? So it's all about what do you know and how do you use it yonke le way. But ke I'm coming to a close of i-content yami yanamhlanje, and I'm allowing you to comment and ask me a question or pose something that you feel like is needed as well, and let me know into yobana zintoni ezicinga fanuba i-industry yethu yomculo ingakhula ngazo at a developmental stage, because i-most yethu imali ayinayo kwi-development, i-most yethu ii-platforms azikho kwi-development. So zonke ezi zinto I pose to you as a challenge to face i-environment okuyo, to face umntu onguye, to face ii-challenges onazo with your skill, with your talent, and try to overcome them ngombuzo oyi-one that I will pose as, yintoni le idingekayo to build a healthy relationship with wena nale nto ufuna ukuyenza. We have abantu we consider as i-elders, we have abantu we consider as i-mentors from a distance, okanye mandiyibeke as role models, because i-mentorship involves i-direct le nto relationship plus ne-implementation yale nto yale impartial, ndingayibiza intoni, uku-impatha whatever is imparted. So yonke laa nto goes into i-relationship yakho nayo ithini. So if you start assessing that, I think we can come to a conclusion yento yobana uqala phi and uqala ngantoni, because whatever is fully developed started somewhere, and if it wasn't based on a question of a relationship, iyafamblisha apha naphaya, because uye uluze i-connection with why you started, with where you wanted to go, with who you are trying to show. And so yonke laa nto iphela iluzeka somewhere somehow. And so for namhlanje, I would like for us to consider that, and with these 5 minutes that I think I have left for mna, I would like for us to communicate mna nawe and build a relationship apha kwile nto kwi-chats just now. Let me bring forward i-comment ka-DJ Saps. I saw iFlash Kumkani doing audience development by going to high schools. I love that because the market is growing with him as a brand. Definitely, Godman. What Flash Kumkani did recently and is still doing, I believe, is something that should be commended, because that's audience development, true. And it's something that he's building for his brand. And that links up to another concept on its own, brand development. And so you have to know your target audience for sure. You have to know where to take it. And he identified as abantwana abasesikolweni, abantwana lawe who are still in high school. So what he decided to go on the drawing board with was the element of it all performing and further enhancing his brand through izikolo ezikhoyo. And you would remember he met a lashback from one of his kolo, I think it was Ibisho High or Bisho something, but sisikolo esikwela side lawe. Umzali othile apparently wayefikile pha, and xa efika ufika abantwana ku-chaotic after the performance was done. So wane-complaint ayifayilayo publicly, okanye andikho sure ivele njani, but we found out through social media. So the way he dealt with that, because I believe even Department of Education relate communication with him. So the way he dealt with that, ngokuya kwa department ngokuya esikolweni eso aphinde avele na-publicly eyithetha into yobana i-relationship yakhe with aba bantwana abenze babonakala ingathi ba-chaotic after i-performance yakhe injani. That is testament to what we are talking about namhlanje, because he didn't have a relationship with the Department of Education. I don't think it's something he communicated with them before he went to isikolo, but I think it's something he communicated with isikolo directly, saying ufuna ukuyenza. That's what I think. I'm not sure. If anyone on Flash's team is right here, please come up and say how that went down. But if it's how I think it went down, then I believe in Dobana he now has a new relationship with the Department of Education. And whatever proposal or whatever he would like to do now with the Department of Education will have a reference point for them to understand him better than they would yesterday, you know? And these are the type of things I'm talking about when I talk about development of relationships, because he has now a land, a social relationship with i-institution. I'm not sure i-institution whether ibelonga kulento ku-social capital na okanye kwenye yeza capitals, but he has now a capital resource from la relationship iye yaziswa yi-negative comment okanye yi-negative claim of i-public member. So all of these things grow, whether they are negative okanye they are positive, but i-growth isuka from phaa into yobana uyi-approacha njani ke ngoku emveni kwayo yonke laa nto, because sifike zikhona ezinye zezi zinto. And so I would believe yindlela odilishana ngayo nazo afterwards okanye moving forward, because that's the relationship you are building with them. That back and forth of the communication builds what le nto ends up being. For mna kwelami icala mandibulele kakhulu for everyone who stuck around la way and commented on the section comments, and I'm hoping into yobana since le way ndizayishiya ilapha ku-YouTube and Facebook for a while, I'm hoping abahlali could build up on it and share it as much as possible, and hopefully subscribe to eza page ndinazo phaya. You can check us out on YouTube with the elements. I'm gonna comment nge-link apha emveni kwayo yonke lento apha ku-Facebook, so that abaku-Facebook bayibone. You can also find us ku-Facebook ku-Bang Entertainment. I'm gonna comment nge-link nalapho into yobana abahlali ababukele ku-Facebook bayilandele le way, bayilandele on Facebook as well, because there are a lot of e-projects that we are trying to build relationships with the artists ngazo. And so I hope into yobana abahlali take it further than the conversation we are having here and get to see into yobana zininzi izinto ezikhoyo that can actually happen in la way. And so I'm hoping you all could just subscribe to izinto esizenzayo and check out nezinye zabantu abakhoyo apha, njengoba uDJ Sebs ebesitsho naye uba uzawuqala some coffee product okanye some coffee business. I'm not sure if it's going to be a product okanye it's going to be an entity njalo njalo, but ke these are the strides we are making relationships with indawo nabantu esibaziyo ne-brands esizizo and the identities we are trying to make prominent elizweni. And so we hope that you would follow that and make sure into yobana abahlali get on board with that. Otherwise, Sibusiso Kamlifi, we need to keep on ringing, we need to keep on something, yeah, find. And so let's ringa. We check this out every Wednesday or 7 p.m. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes it's just me doing this thing alone, but every time we are talking about the music industry, so you need to be on watch for Iweyes Lolo Hlobo. Subscribe and ring la bell so that uzoba notified. Follow me up on Facebook so that uzoba notified. That's what we are doing right here. Siyaringa.